Hello everybody, Big Beardy back again, and today we need to get serious. We need to talk about some of the biggest problems with the industry, some of the biggest things that people are struggling with, and things you might just want to know. You might not hear this from very many places, but I need to break it down for you so people who are looking to join the industry understand what they're getting into, and people who are in it at the moment can sort of see where maybe there are problems. So, first of all, if I asked all the professional couriers out there what the biggest problem with the industry at the moment, a vast majority, I think, would say there's just too many drivers. It's too congested. There's just not enough work for the amount of drivers that are on the road. So let's go into this in detail. Let's figure out why that is and the problems it brings. So, for me, I think there's two main reasons why people get into this industry. First of all, there is the potential, and that's a big word there, potential to make real good money doing this job. I'm not going to lie, you can make good money. You can potentially make good money. There are a lot of people that come into the industry and don't though. So I talk about £200 a day. That's sort of my minimum I'm looking for. And I'm to blame for this a little bit because people sort of hear me say that and think, oh, I can make £200 a day, when they don't really think about it logically. Yes, you can make £200 a day, but that's before expenditures. That's not guaranteed. There's a lot of reasons why you might not make £200 a day, but there is potential to make good money. So a lot of people see that and think, they perceive that the industry, I can go make £200 a day, nice and easy. He said I could. I can see other people making £200, £300, £400 a day. I can do that too. That's one reason why people jump into the industry. The other reason, which is probably a bigger factor, is you only need two things to become a courier, and that is a driving license and a van, or a vehicle to, you can do it with a car, but we won't go into that today. So you need two things, a driving license and a van. Just think about that for a second. You don't need to go to university, you don't need to go to college, you don't even need to go to high school, you don't need to take any courses, you don't need to have an apprenticeship, you don't need to start on the bottom rung of an industry and then build up to it. You don't even need to be able to speak the language of which the country you're working in. I could go to Spain and be a courier. Can I speak Spanish? No. So when you think of the entry level to actually become a courier is extremely low. All you need, driving license, which a majority of people have, and a van, which you don't need a qualification for. You just go and buy one. You just need the finances to get one. And then you can potentially make good money. You can see why people flock to this industry. It's very appealing. Now, I know some people say, oh, what about insurance and that? But we all sort of know that. And I can guarantee you right now, there are people driving around as couriers that do not have the correct insurance. It's a given. Trust me, there are people that are doing it. They shouldn't be bloody doing it, but they are. So when the entry level is so low, and the money you can make is potentially, I'm going to keep saying that, it's very high, you can see why people join this industry. Especially in this time with what's happened this year, people losing their jobs left, right and centre and thinking, I need to make money now. You can see why they've jumped into this industry. And I can't blame them when you look at it on that evidence. But we'll go into why that brings up bigger problems, and it is becoming a bigger and bigger issue. But then again, think about, why that's appealing. Think of what jobs you can get with those qualifications. Like you can stack shelves, you can be a labourer, you can work in a fast food restaurant, but they don't make the sort of money we do. So that answers the question why people are jumping in the industry. And I can see why people who are outside going, I want to join an industry, that's why I want to do it. But that is the problem. So many people are jumping into the industry who don't know what they're doing, haven't got the qualifications. When I say qualification, I mean they haven't got the experience. They don't know what exactly they're getting themselves into. This causes the problem. And a lot of people that jump into the industry think the job is, I go from A, I pick up, I drive somewhere, I drop off. That's my job. That's not your job. This might sound strange. This is why people fail. They don't actually grasp what the actual job is. I used to work as a logistics advisor for a major retailer. My job was to figure out what size vans needed to go into what buildings to pick up X amount of pallets and go left, That was my job. Part of the job was putting all that information into a computer. Now, a monkey could do that, but I still had to do it. I was getting paid to figure out the hard stuff. When you join this industry, people seem to think the job is the putting the stuff into the computer, the easy bit. No, your job is speaking to customers, getting jobs lined up, figuring out how you're going to get a job the next day. Put it this way, if you're sat there right now and you're thinking, I haven't got a job for Monday morning, then, or you're struggling to, you're only thinking about the job you're doing, then you're doing it wrong. When I'm driving it and I've got a job on the back and I haven't got one lined up, my job is to figure out what my next job's going to be. Where am I going to end up? Where can I get work? So people seem to don't understand that, and that's why they start struggling. Plus also, they come into the industry, they bid too little, they don't do the job correctly, and this all makes the industry, it's full of people that don't actually know what they're doing. When you break it down, I think there's 40% of people out there, which I would call professional couriers. I put myself on that list. It's people who have been in the industry for a while, they know exactly what they're doing, they have a price, they get paid the right amount of money, they do the job correctly, they've got customers, they've got people lined up, they know what they're doing. 40%, that's what I reckon the number is. I reckon between 30 and 40% are what I would call employee couriers, people who work for other people, they don't actually do the figuring out of stuff, they just get paid a wage, they get paid to drive from A to B. And then the other 20-30% are what are a mixture of people that don't know what the fuck they're doing, cowboys basically, new people to the industry who are trying to figure it out, and people who have been in the industry for a while but know what they're doing, but they haven't quite grasped it yet and are struggling and are trying to break into that 40%. That's what the industry looks like, I reckon, at the moment, in my personal opinion. Now, the other big problem with the industry, which comes into there being too many drivers, is there's no progression. Once you're in it, that's your job. You can't then become courier manager. You know, if you're a self-employed courier, a owner driver, whatever you want to call it, a professional courier, there's no up or down. You're just there. The way you progress is by getting more customers, making more money. There is two ways to progress, I suppose. One is you go bigger, so you get bigger vans. You go up to 7.5 tons where it's very regulated. Or you start employing people and turning that 20-30% at the bottom into that other 40 of employed drivers, which is great. I would love more people to do that, because then it sort of gets rid of the chaff at the bottom. Not saying that people new to the industry are chaff, but you know, they're still trying to figure it out. So I bring this to you because you're starting to build a picture. There's too many drivers, people aren't doing it properly, loads of people jump in the industry just because it's so easy to jump into. And it builds this problem with the industry, which is the main problem. There's too many drivers, not enough work. The other issue is with all these drivers jumping into the industry is because they don't know what they're doing, or they're learning, or they're finding it difficult, they bring the value of the industry down, which might sound a bit weird, but think of it this way. I bid on a job and I bid £100. Someone who's a cowboy and doesn't know what they're doing, or is new to the industry and isn't quite sure how to bid, bids 70 quid. You've automatically, just by doing that, taken 30 quid out of the industry. Now you do that 100 times, and then 1,000 times, and then 10,000 times, and you can see what I'm going at. You're pulling money out of the industry at this level. You're giving more money to the higher levels, the shippers and all that, but you're pulling it out of the courier industry by bidding low. And that's where it starts to affect everyone. So like I said, when you really delve into it, where's the issue? What's the problem? And how do we fix it? And I don't actually know. People have said regulations make it more difficult for people to join the industry. Yes, that could be one way to do it, but will it work? I don't know. And this is why you don't have the same issue at the higher level, the bigger levels, like 7.5 tons. People will always say there's too many drivers and all this stuff, but they're highly regulated, so less people join that part of the industry. So when people ask me, and I get asked this all the time, should I become a courier? Should I join the industry? Think about what I've just said. You're going to join an industry which is already saturated with drivers who all have the same perception that they're going to make loads of money and need little qualifications, you're already competing against a top level of what I would say 40% of drivers who know exactly what they're fucking doing, have customers already built into their, they have their customers, they're respected, they have been doing it for a long time, some of them have been doing it their whole lives. So you're competing against them. You've got a load of people who, like you, trying to do the same thing. You've got people who are doing it wrong, who are making it more difficult for you. We've all got this perception of builders, cowboy builders, we've all heard the saying. And every builder you hire, guaranteed the first few days they're in there, you're thinking, you're a fucking cowboy. How do I know, how can I trust you? The more people who are like that in our industry gives us everyone that perception, and it takes confidence out of the industry. So people start using other means of getting it to work. So you can see how I'm trying to choose my words here, a very potentially appealing industry, which is appealing from the outside, when you get into it, suddenly becomes very the rose-tinted glasses disappear very quickly, because when you're in it, you're realizing, it's not what I thought. I'm competing for work. I'm not making the money I thought I should be. Every job is a struggle to win. I don't have my own customers, and to get those customers is extremely difficult, because there's a bloke over there who's been doing it for 10 years, and they've used him for 10 years, and it's unlikely they're going to use me. Now can we see where the problems are? So if you're looking to join, you've got to be aware of that. You have to do 3 things to be successful in this industry. 3 basic things. It boils down to a lot more, but boils down to these 3. You have to work harder than everyone else, have to be smarter than everyone else, or have to do something brand new which works, which no one else is doing. Or you need a mixture of all 3. Or you will fail. Simple as that. Because there are too many drivers. You have to rise to the top. And it's very difficult to rise to the top when there are so many drivers. I'm not trying to put people off joining the industry, but at the same time I'm saying, if you are going to, you've got to think about, and you've really got to get your head nailed on and figure out what you're going to do. There are plenty, I speak to people all the time. Since I started doing this channel, people all the time come to me, I'm in this area with this van, should I join the industry? Put it this way, if you're asking me that question, you're not ready. If you're asking, I've got a Ford Transit, I live in Manchester, is there work in that area? Why are you even bothering at this moment in time to ask that question? Go do your research. You're not ready to become a courier. You might have the van and you might have a driving license, but you're going to jump into the industry and go, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm not trying to be harsh to anyone. I'm not trying to pick on any individual person who might have sent me a message like that. I'm just trying to be real with you. Go and do the research. And doing the research isn't asking me if you've got the right van for the right area. How the fuck should I know? Go do your own research. Because when you're in the industry, no one's going to do it for you. I might be sounding like I'm being a bit harsh to people, but I'm trying to be honest. Now let's mix on to the other stuff that you might not realise about the industry, which you need to know. Because you have to enjoy this work for it to work for you. 12-hour days is the norm. Some people say, do you actually work 12 hour a day? Yeah. I've done 15, 18, 20-hour days. I've done a 24-hour day before, not driving, purely 24 hours, I will add, but I've done days where I've been awake for 24 hours, getting stuff sorted, working, doing stuff. It happens. It's very rare. But a 12-hour day is the norm. What else? Let's think. Away from your family a lot. Tramping. If you don't like the cold, don't bother. You're going to be out in the cold tramping in the back of your van. If you're not comfortable in your own head, you're going to struggle, because you are sat in a van talking to yourself all day long. You have to be able to problem solve. You have to be able to, the amount of times I've driven along and I've heard something wrong with the van, it's like, right, I've got to get that fixed. The amount of money you've got to fork out. You have to be tenacious. You have to work extremely hard. These are all things you need to be able to do to make this industry work, which people don't understand. And then you've got to realise that the driving part, like I said, is not your job. Your job is securing your next job, and the job after, and your job after. Now, if you've just listened to me rant on for the last 15 minutes and thought, actually, that sounds a bit shit, it's not the industry for you. If you've listened to that and you thought, I can make this work, I've done my research, I know what I'm doing, I'm driven, and I can do this, and I know it's saturated, but I have confidence in myself, then you will do well. But you have to be aware of all these problems, because most people look at the industry and go, I can potentially make that much amount of money, and all I need is a van. I'm in. And then they get in and they realise this is a much deeper pile of shit that they've jumped into than they think. I hope this has helped some people and answered some questions. I'm not trying to put down or anything, but I get asked so many of the same questions of, should I join the industry? Have I got the right van? Have I got this? And I listen, I hear these things from these people, and it's like, I need to do a video to tell people that it is a lot more difficult than you think. And you will struggle unless you do things right. And sort of lay out where the problems are. And the problem is, there are too many of us. That shouldn't deter you necessarily from joining the industry, but you need to be aware of it. So I bring this all to you so you can have a more informed opinion. Should you join the industry? I can't answer that for you. Have you got the right van for the area you work in? I can't answer that for you. But I can tell you it's extremely busy out there at the moment. With everything that's happened in this year, there's so many more drivers out there, it feels like, and a lot less work. So if it was tough before, it's even tougher now. I often get asked, is it the right time to join? I can't answer that for you. What I can say is, if you join now, it's gonna be fucking hard. It always is fucking hard. It's a very competitive industry. Even when it's good times, it's competitive. But it's extremely competitive at the moment. So I hope this has helped. I hope this has helped some people. I hope this has opened some people's eyes. I hope some people have listened to this and gone, right, it might not be, I need to go and look into it a bit more. I want people to come into this industry equipped with as many tools as possible, so that when they come in, they know what they're doing and they're good at it, because it raises the industry. But too many people join that don't have a clue, and it just brings the industry down, and that makes us all suffer. So please, listen to what I'm saying. Like I said, I hope this helped. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope I haven't been too much of a downer. But please like, comment and subscribe as well. Also, go check out the Discord. We've got like 65, 70 people on there now. People are starting to talk. It's getting really good. So please go and check that as well. And as always, be safe out there and have a great day.